You know that feeling when you spend a serious amount of your saving on a new laptop, thinking it's going to handle everything you threw at it. But then the battery dies faster than your phone at a music festival. The performance stutters out of nowhere. But what if there's a laptop that actually lives up to its promise? The Asus ROG Strix G16 might just be that machine. And here's the twist. I'm going to talk about one feature that sets this laptop apart from the rest. Something most people don't even realize make a huge difference. But that's not all. We are diving into what real users are posting online about this Strix G16, the true pros and cons, their experiences, and how you can solve some common issues, and if it's time to look at something else. Stick around till the end for a complete picture. Right out of the box, you can tell this thing is built to last. It has this premium feel, but not in a way that's over the top. You have got an aluminium lid, rubberized plastic on the base, sturdy but not too heavy. And honestly, the lack of the flex here is a great sign for long-term durability. But let's be real. At 2.5 kg, this is definitely not your thin and light notebook. It's a gaming laptop. And you will feel the weight when you're carrying it around. It's chunkier than something like a MacBook Pro or a Dell XPS. But the sloped design keeps it looking sleek, not like a bulky brick. As you take a look around, the lighting is minimal, but it's done just right. The front edge and the ROG logo glow in a minimalistic way. Not an overpowering RGB setup like you will see on other gaming laptops, it adds just enough personality. Opening the lid, super smooth, and yes, you can do it with just one hand, a small but nice touch. The bezels are thin, giving the display a more immersive feel, even though the hinge doesn't go all the way back. There is a 720p webcam up top. It's not groundbreaking, but hey, it's there, and a lot of gaming laptops skip this entirely. Flipping it over, you will see the large ventilation grill, which is crucial for keeping things cool. With vents on the back and sides, airflow looks solid, but of course, you will need to see how well the fans kick in under load to know for sure. Overall, it's a solid setup, not the thinnest or the lightest, but for a gaming laptop, it does a great job balancing the build quality, style, and practicality. If you're used to the office laptop, this is definitely heavy, but it's still pretty sleek as compared to the other laptops in the same price range. Typing on the Strix G16 feels solid. The key have a nice amount of travel, offering satisfying feedback with every press. It's comfortable for extended use, but there is a slight issue with the right shift key being smaller than usual. If you're used to a full-sized one, you might hit the arrow key by accident at first. The RGB lighting is pretty vibrant, lighting up the keyboard nicely, even in the bright environments. However, customization is limited, no per key adjustment like on premium models. You get the basic, like color change and effects such as rainbow or breathing. And one thing to note, the power button feels a bit wobbly. While it doesn't impact the performance, if you're sensitive to small details, you might notice it. For a 16-inch gaming laptop, the touchpad is surprisingly good. It's big, smooth, and tracks really well. No weird jumpiness or missed gestures. Plus, palm rejection is solid, so you won't be triggered random clicks while typing. The physical clicks are a bit soft and quiet, though not bad, just not as crisp as something like a MacBook or high-end Ultra, but overall, it's more than capable for everyday use. Now, this thing comes loaded with ports. On the left, you get the power plug, an Ethernet port, which is great if you want a stable wired connection, a HDMI 2.1 for hooking up an external display, a Thunderbolt 4 port, and a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 with DisplayPort support. That means you can easily connect extra screens or even an external GPU if needed. On the right, you get two USB-A ports for plugging in peripherals like a mouse or external storage. Compared to some thinner gaming laptops that sacrifices ports for a sleeker design, the G16 gives you all the essentials without needing a dongle. So overall, the keyboard is great, but it takes some time getting used to. The touchpad is solid and the port selection is well thought out. It's not perfect, but it gets most things right when it really matters. Now here's where things get interesting for display. You're getting a mix of high resolution, fast refresh rate, and low response time, which makes everything look smooth and sharp. No annoying screen tearing, no weird stuttering, it just works well. Now if you ever tried running 4K displays on a gaming laptop, you know how demanding that can be. Some laptops struggle to push out consistently smooth performance at that resolution, but the G16 doesn't seem to have that issue. Brightness pretty solid, it hits 500 nits, which means you won't have trouble using it in well-lit rooms. And the backlighting makes everything pop. When I fired up few games, the red and green stood out immediately. Vibrant, punchy, but still natural looking. It's one of those screens that makes color feel alive without looking oversaturated. Now, color accuracy is where it really shines. It covers 99.7% of sRGB, 89% of Adobe RGB, and 99.2% of DCI-P3, which is impressive. If you are into content creation, photo editing, video work, or anything that needs true to life colors, this panel won't let you down. It's not just a gaming display, it's also a serious tool for creative work. But here's the catch, this model has a Full HD Plus resolution on a 16-inch screen. It's half enough that you won't notice individual pixels unless you are really looking for them, and the matte coating helps with the glare. But compared to some other high-end gaming or creator-focused laptops that comes with QHD displays or even 4K, this resolution feels a little basic. Not bad, if you are used to sharper displays, you might wish for more. So overall, the G16 display is a great mix of speed, color accuracy and brightness. It's fantastic for gaming, great for creative work and still solid for general use. And by the way, it comes with 144Hz refresh rate, so there will be no problem in gaming. But if you are after absolute sharpest visuals, you might find yourself wanting a high resolution option. Now the Strix G16 packs the Intel Core i7-13650HX, which is the part of the last year's Raptor Lake lineup. It's got 6 performance cores for heavy tasks and 8 efficiency cores to handle background stuff, adding up to 20 threads in total. That means it's pretty solid for multitasking, gaming, and even some creative work like video editing. And with a boost clock of 4.9 GHz, it's not a slow machine when it comes to the performance. The Ryzen 7 7840HS in the Omen 16 is a power efficient chip. It does really well in content creation like Blender, it actually beats the i7. Now if you are into gaming, the Strix G16 does a really good job of delivering smooth performance. With an RTX 4050 under the hood, it holds its ground against the other gaming laptops like the Predator Neo 16 and the Legion Pro 5i, which packs the same GPU. But how does it really perform in actual gameplay? Let's break that down. In fast-paced games like the Valorant, where every frame counts, the Strix G16 pulls ahead with an impressive 300 FPS at high settings, with VSync off. That's slightly better than the Predator Neo 16 at 290 and the Legion Pro 5i at 280. A small difference, but if you are aiming for peak responsiveness, every frame matters. For more demanding open-world titles like GTA 5, the Strix G16 keeps things smooth at 150 FPS on high settings at 1080p. That's a slight edge over the Predator Helios Neo 16 and the Legion Pro 5i. It's not a night and day difference, but if you are still getting a bit more stability, which means fewer stutters while driving fast through Los Santos. In Forza Horizon 5, the story is similar. The Strix G16 manages 110 FPS at ultra settings 1080p, just a bit ahead of the Predator Neo 16 and the Legion Pro 5i. Racing games feel best when FPS stay high and consistent, and here's the Strix keeps things fluid. For graphically intense games like the God of War 2018, the G16 hits really great FPS at ultra settings with DLSS off. Interestingly, this time it just falls behind the Legion Pro 5i, but it stays ahead of the Predator Helios Neo 16. Not a massive gap, but if you are looking for the absolute best performance in cinematic single-player games, you might notice slight dips. However, the Strix G16 regains its lead in Spider-Man Miles Morales, where it delivers 110 FPS on high settings with DLSS on, outpacing both the Predator Neo 16 and the Legion Pro 5i. In fast-paced games like this, where a smooth web swing is crucial, those extra frames make the gameplay feel just a bit more responsive. For Cyberpunk, the Strix G16 runs 72 FPS with ray tracing set to medium and DLSS off. That's better than the Predator and the Legion Pro 5i. While the difference isn't huge, it does mean slightly smoother performance in one of the most demanding modern games. The Strix G16 consistently holds a slight edge over its competitors, maintaining higher FPS in most games. The differences aren't always massive, but they add up, especially in competitive shooters and open world, where the stability matters a lot. If you're choosing between these three laptops, the Strix G16 gives you a bit more performance for your money. But at the end of the day, all three gaming laptops performs really well. And the choice might come down to the other factors like the design, cooling, and honestly, the pricing. And here's the feature that sets the G16 apart: the well thought out cooling design. With multiple vents and well thought out heat management system, this laptop can push its performance without overheating. Performance at that resolution, but the G16 doesn't seem to have that issue. Throttle under load, the G16 keeps it cool under pressure. Now let's talk about the audio on the Strix G16. This laptop can definitely get loud, reaching up to 77 decibels, which is enough to fill a room with sound. But here's the kicker: while it's loud, it's not exactly good. the bass almost non-existent. So if you weren't expecting that deep, rumbling low end to elevate your gaming experience or movies, you will get disappointed. Instead, you get a flat sound that lacks punch. The treble, well, it tends to be harsh and a bit tiny, which gives the overall sound a hollow, distant feel. At a normal volume, around 65 decibels, you will notice a noticeable with a 6.6 decibel error that makes the sound feel off. Crank it up to the max and the dynamic range gets compressed even more. Sure, it's loud, but if you care about the audio quality, you will probably want to plug in some headphones or external speakers to get some real experience. Now you know the G16 is packing the i7-13650HX and the RTX 4050, so it's got the muscles to handle games like Cyberpunk. But with that power comes with the heat. When gaming, the CPU is maxing out at 100% utilization, pulling a hefty 96 watt of power, so the temperatures, they spike. The GPU stays between 80 to 85 degrees Celsius, but the CPU, that can hit a max of 90 degrees Celsius, sometimes even touching 95 degrees Celsius. It's not overheating territory, but it's definitely pushing the limits, expecting around 1.5 to 2 hours to tops. But on light tasks like browsing or watching videos, the Strix G16 can last 6 to 8 hours, since the GPU and CPU aren't being pushed as hard. When it comes to the fan noise, Asus does a decent job with few different performance modes. In silent mode, the fan hums along quietly at 35 decibels, perfect if you are just working on some light task and don't want to wake up the whole room. When you switch to performance mode, the fan noise bumps up a bit to 38 decibels, which is a good balance between keeping things cool and still being relatively quiet. But here's the real story. Turbo mode, this is when you are pushing the Strix G16 to its limit during gaming or heavy tasks. The fan roars up to 52 decibels. Yeah, it's loud, but it's not surprising. This is what you would expect from a gaming laptop in full throttle. The good news, despite all that noise, the cooling system does a solid job keeping everything stable, so you can game for hours without throttling. It's loud, but it gets the job done. Let's take a look at the early feedbacks from users. Some are reporting issues like speaker failure, screen defects, and motherboard replacements, all within just a few months. And if you are in India, the repair process is a nightmare. Customer support is nearly non-existent, so if something goes wrong, you are in for a pretty rough time. The random shutdowns are a major red flag. Gamers are experiencing crashes in some middle of gameplay, no matter how much they tweak BIOS settings or drivers. Some also have managed to get a replacement, but others are left stuck with a broken unit. On Reddit, it starts off pretty positively. People love the RGB lights, quiet fans, and smooth gameplay, but over the time, the issue starts to surface. High CPU temperature, concerns about durability, and questioning about long-term reliability begins to take the sign of the initial excitement. So is the Asus ROG Strix G16 worth buying? Here's the rundown. If you get a solid unit, it's a powerhouse. But if you don't, you might be facing a frustrating repair process and unexpected shutdowns. And if you are in India, Asus support isn't looking promising. By the way, if you have already considered picking up the ROG Strix G16, then you can find the best buying links down below in the description box. These are the affiliate links, so when you make a purchase through them, you are helping me keep the channel running. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to drop a like, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any future update. I would love to hear what are your thoughts on the ROG Strix G16, or is there another gaming laptop that you might recommending? Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.